We're just from getting the insights from the clearance department, and now we want to speak to the state vet. Na hapa tumeshika twins ambao wamezaliwa when they were being imported to Kenya. Does this happen a lot?
Yes. Once the other ones which were taken to quarantine and are pregnant, they have to come up with their mother because of the colostrum and the forming of immunity.
So when you say you're a state vet, what exactly do you look out for? And once the animals are here, what is that process like for you?
Our main objective here is to have animals and animal products that come in disease-free, high-grade animals, pure bred genetically. And before any animal is brought into Kenya, we have to have what we call export permit and import permit, veterinary health certificate, and all vaccinations have been attained.
So is there a specific number of animals that is required for us to make the importation? Ama kama niko na watatu wanaweza kuja tu wawili?
No, we don't restrict any number. We don't restrict any number. So long as you're capable of having the veterinary health certificate, they have undergone the quarantine, they've got all the conditions set by Kenya, now we can import.
How many times do you receive animals here?
We usually receive up to 3 times a week.
Right.
Yes.
And you've spoken something on they have to be put on quarantine.
Yes.
How many days is that, and why is that very, very important?
Quarantine is very important to ensure that the animals that are going to be imported are completely disease-free.
Right.
They take blood samples to ensure they are clean, put into a quarantine station for 21 days without mixing with the other breeds that have not been vaccinated or they have not taken blood samples to ensure these are clean animals.
Right. Let's talk about the comfort of the animal while it's being transported from South Africa or from whichever part of the world. Ndo afike hapa.
Important thing we look at is what we call animal welfare. Animal welfare ensures that the animal coming in are very comfortable, the temperature, they don't squeeze each other, the number per pallet and how big the animals are. They are supposed to be watered before they come in. Because from South Africa to this place is usually 4.5 hours to 5 hours. So we ensure that the whole day they have been given water and feed. Now they come. The most important thing in the plane is temperature control and oxygen circulation. Yes.
What is the optimum temperature required in that aeroplane so that we make sure they are at their optimum temperature?
The optimum temperature, 25 to 30 degrees.
All right.
Another very important thing is day-old chicks. Day-old chicks are very fragile. Temperature control is very important. That is why immediately they ensure that the plane has got 8 to 20 degrees centigrade and oxygen temperature are very important. Once they land, they have to be offloaded immediately. We've got the principle of animals being loaded last. All other mizigos will be loaded in and then live animal has to be loaded last. Yes. So
they don't eat and they don't drink any more water when they're inside there?
Once the chickens are there, we usually don't have watering. But in horses, it's very important for them to be given water. But these ones come in large number. Horses come in one of square 3 animals. And they come with what we call a groom. A groom has to be given to give it water, look at their conditions, because colic is very, very susceptible to horses. Yes.
Have we had a situation wakati umeimport, alafu maybe there was an accident of moja amekufa, wawili wamekufa?
Usually, sometimes we have very small ones like this that have been put in with the big ones. So trampling them at least, but we thank God for bullet we've not had.
Right.
We just had very few incidents.
Right. So that can be caused by mixing them with the big animals?
Yes.
Right.
Once they enter into a pallet and they're big ones, there's what we call tramping on them.
Right.
Trampling on them.
Given that you do a lot of inspection for the animals that come in, do you also inspect the animals that go out?
Yes, our main objective here as the Director of Veterinary Services, DVS JKIA, is to ensure that all animals coming in and all animals going out are disease-free. That the animals that are coming in have already been vaccinated, health certificate, quarantine, and at the same time, the animals that we send outside has fulfilled the conditions. They have also clean animals, disease-free, vaccinated.
What common breeds are we normally importing here in Kenya? What animals are we commonly importing?
Most of the animals we import here are pure breed to come and improve our local breeds. These are Dorper sheep, goats, Sahiwal, Kalahari, Meat Master, and day-old chicks.
So what do we do to achieve pure breeds locally?
To improve our breeds, we really need to have what we call pure breed animals, and we also have to import what we call semen. Like most of our dairy farmers import what we call semen, high-grade semen from Netherlands, from Holland, and these are pure breed, and they come and improve on our local dairy animals to improve on animal production, on milk production and other animal production.
And I know there are very many farmers who are importing, let's say, Dorper for breeding. So when you're going to inspect that animal that is specifically for, let's say, dopa for breeding, so when you're going to inspect that animal that is specifically for breeding, what are you going to look out for?
That's what we call breeding examination of a male breeding examination. We check at the scrotal circumferences, we check at the teething and how strong the legs are for mating, and the teeth also, because of feed efficient conversion, the animal has to feed properly. We also check at the demia of the animal, and we also screen them for all diseases.
And to certify that huyu mnyama ambaye mkulima wangu ameletewa ni 100% pure, that breed that they asked for, what do you do? Ndo tuhakikishe they are not being shortchanged somewhere in the process.
Thank you so much. Most of the animals come with what we call a pedigree certificate. The pedigree will show the whole genetic tree to ensure that these are pure breed animals.
Right.
For breeding.
Thank you so much for having us. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure.